Lee G News, live and direct coverage at an all-time high. You've got the one and only Lee the G, broadcasting live from right here at the studio, 48 inches TV. We've got a lot to get to on episode 2, so let's jump right in.
Life I'm living, this is Lee G News. Something different, this is Lee G News. Sports and music, this is Lee G News. Come on, you already know.
One of my favorite times of the year is March Madness. I love basketball, not just college basketball, but also high school basketball. And that means the annual UK Healthcare KHSAA Sweet 16 tournament in the city of Lexington. Now, I love it. Seeing people from all over the state of Kentucky come into the Bluegrass City for this tournament, such a special and momentous occasion, it's just a sight to behold. I've been to several tournaments, and this year, nonetheless, was just as good as any in the past. Now, let's talk about the semifinals. This week, we had the Woodford County Yellow Jackets, the Frederick Douglass Broncos, the Warren Central Dragons, and the George Rogers Clark Cardinals make the Final Four of the tournament. And I couldn't have asked for a better foursome, Stone. I mean, 3 Central Kentucky teams, to make it to the Final Four. That says something about the Bluegrass region. I mean, you've got the Douglas Broncos right out of the city of Lexington. And then you have Woodford County, the Yellow Jackets from Versailles. Well, that's Lexington West. That's Lexington adjacent. And then you also have Clark County, which is Winchester, the George Rogers Clark Cardinals. That's just like 22 miles to the east of Lexington. So these 3 schools are stocked with Lexington talent, Lexington coaches, and stuff like that. So to see the Final Four, and we also have Bowling Green, the Warren Central Dragons. So to see 3 of the Final Four teams be Central Kentucky located, to be the greater Lexington metropolitan area teams, it just gave me a sense of pride. And back to the championship game, for the second time in a row were the Warren Central Dragons and the George Rogers Clark Cardinals. And I would have to say congratulations to those Bowling Green boys of Warren Central. They won the state title with a final score of 64-60 over the Clark County Cardinals. Let's get to the stats. Let's see. We had, for Warren Central, we had Dameron Walkup. He had 17. Cade Unseld, number 4, he also contributed with 17. He seemed like he was the leader of the team. Omari Glover, he had 17, and Chappelle Whitney, he had 10. And for George Rogers Clark, for the Cardinals, Rashawn Hampton had 13. Jerome Morton had 23, and Sam Parrish had 17. So these 2 teams are stocked full of star athletes, people that will continue on to play collegiate ball and continue to hoop in their future. And it was just a wonderful tournament. I want to give a kudos to the Frederick Douglass Broncos. Is there a better athletic program in the state of Kentucky than Douglass High School in Lexington? I mean, good Lord. They won the state championship in football, and then they make it to the Sweet 16 and the semifinals, the Final Four of the Sweet 16 in basketball. So there's something in the water in Northeast Lexington over there on Winchester Road for the Douglass Broncos. So I'm looking forward to see what they'll be doing in baseball season and track to keep up. Their girls made the Sweet 16 tournament also. So kudos to Douglass and my lifelong childhood friend, Jerron Brown, Coach Brown of the Woodford County Yellow Jackets. Those boys, Leighton Starks and Jasper Johnson and Tino Wade and just so the whole team, very formidable. And to see Versailles rally around Woodford County and follow them to Rupp Arena, and had the biggest, student section, and the fans were raucous and rowdy. So it was nice to see, and they will be back. The Woodford County Yellow Jackets and the Douglass Broncos, they'll be back. But it was refreshing to see how George Rogers Clark made it back to the championship game. This is only the fourth time since 1918 where it's been a championship rematch. Back in 1987-88, you had Clay County and Louisville Ballard. In 1918 and 1919, good Lord, it was Lexington Henry Clay versus Somerset. So neither team has swept this, when you return to the championship game in the Sweet 16, which has only been done 4 times, neither team has won both games. So Clark County won last year and Warren Central won this year. And that was, that was an interesting rivalry to see. And I want to commend Clark County and the George Rogers Clark Cardinals for having the dexterity and the wherewithal to withstand everybody coming for the crown and aiming at the throne. And they made it back to defend their championship in honorable fashion. So I want you guys to hold your heads up. Jerome Morton and Sam Parrish and those boys, the whole team, you guys represented very well. And Winchester is to be very proud of you all. And the Warren Central Dragons, Bowling Green, I mean, they just don't stop. A lot of times we hear about Louisville and Lexington and Louisville. Bowling Green, Kentucky, the athletic pool, the gene pool down there takes a backseat to nobody, sirs and ma'ams. The Bowling Green Purples made it to the championship game in football, and now the Warren Central Dragons. How many high schools do they have down there in Bowling Green? Like 4 or 5? I'm not sure. But for a town like that who doesn't even have a downtown skyline, what's going on, Bowling Green? I came through Bowling Green. I was like, "Where's the downtown?" They were like, "We just passed it." I was like, "Where?" But anyway, for a town of that size to be as impressive and dominating athletically, that is kudos to Warren County and the surrounding areas down there. So this Sweet 16 tournament was wonderful to see all the teams and the fans converge upon the city and Rupp Arena. It was refreshing, to see different styles of basketball up close and personal. So your champions for 2023, the Warren Central Dragons. Congratulations from all of us here at Lee G News and 48 Inches TV. This past week, I brought up a topic on Twitter, and it's beginning to get some traction. It was retweeted a lot of times and quoted, and that led me to share it on Facebook and all the groups that I'm in, the Lee G News discussion board, 502 Hoops, so on and so forth. Lexington has 9 high schools, 3 private, 6 public. The 3 private are Lexington Catholic High School, Lexington Christian Academy, and Sayre High School. The 6 public high schools are Paul Laurence Dunbar, Bryan Station, Henry Clay, Lafayette, Tates Creek, and Douglas. So that's 9 Lexington high schools. Now, how many high schools does Louisville have? 50, 60, 70? I don't know. But it's a lot. I kid, but it's a lot. I would like to know that official number. Somebody tweet me or text me and let me know. Why does Lexington and Louisville not play each other? And I mean often. Why do we not schedule each other? The rivalry is there. Lexington, Louisville, Kentucky, the University of Louisville, the Cats, the Cards. You know, I mean, Douglas Park, Shawnee Park, Lexington Dirt Bowl, Louisville Dirt Bowl. I don't get it. Red, blue, what have you. You know, back in the day, it was LCC or JCC. I'm showing my age right there. Remember Jefferson Community College, Lexington Community College. Remember all that before it came B, C, T, C, F, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But the rivalry is there. And I just don't understand why we don't play more often. Now, I get it. I may be a lot more passionate about it than you are. My father, God rest his soul, is from Louisville. You know, he played at Thomas Jefferson and Shawnee, and he was Louisville Golden Gloves. And but he loved his Louisville Cardinals, but he also liked the Kentucky Wildcats. Like him and my mom would watch the games together. I grew up in a house divided. My brother and sister are from Louisville, but I'm born and raised in Lexington. But I would spend my weekends and my summers down here in Louisville. I know the city. I know the climate. I know the culture. You know what I mean? So it means a lot more to me. I want to see Dunbar and Doss. I want to see Ballard and Bryan Station. I want to see Trinity versus Lexington Catholic. I want to see Fern Creek versus Tate's Creek. You know what I mean? I want to see Butler and Henry Clay. I'm just throwing it out there. I want to see Sayre versus Christian Academy of Louisville. I want to see LCA versus DeSales. Why are we not doing this? Why the hell are we not doing this? I mean, come on. You know, it's 77 miles of distance. And for these two cities, the two biggest cities in the state of Kentucky, to be that close, that's really close. 77 miles? Bro, I can get from Georgetown, I can get from the West End in Lexington to the West End in Louisville in 45 minutes. You know what I mean? I always shopped at J Mall. I grew up in Lexington, but the time that I spent down here, I was like, I'm going to St. Matthews, to go shopping or what have you. Or I'm about to go to King's. I'm about to pull up down in Louisville on Dixie just to get some Kings. You know what I mean? So it means a lot more to me because I'm amalgamated. I'm mixed up and texturized and all up in this. You understand me? You figure deal. You know what I'm talking about? But I think we're doing ourselves a disservice by not mixing it up to see what the measuring stick is, to go up against the best competition city-wise. Lexington and Louisville have always produced, in my opinion, the most athletes, the most championships, the most appearances, the most notoriety. So I just don't understand why we don't mix it up. Why is there not a holiday classic in December featuring, it doesn't have to be a whole lot, just maybe 5 or 6 Louisville schools, 5 or 6 Lexington schools. And why are we not scheduling and mixing that up and having a invitational and see who wins, who wins the most games? Why are we not in football? Why are we not having the Battle Bowl or of the cities? Why isn't Douglas playing Trinity? Why isn't Bryan Station playing Male? Why isn't Henry Clay playing St. X? I just don't get why we don't do that because it's there. Now, shout out to my Dirt Bowl family, Lexington Dirt Bowl and Louisville Dirt Bowl, because that's where you'll get the groceries. We'll mix it up. We'll play the Lexington Bulls in Dirt Bowl. They'll play the Louisville East End. We'll have an all-star Louisville Dirt Bowl team play against a Lexington all-star Dirt Bowl team, and we'll get that. But for me, that's the only level outside of the Cats and Cards where this budding, unspoken elephant in the room rivalry exists. It's not like I can say Fayette Mall versus Jefferson Mall. That's stupid. You know what I mean? But athletically, we can do this. Even in boxing, why can't we take some, youth boxers from Louisville and some youth boxers from Lexington and mix it up for a positive involvement in the name of the cities? So that's something that I believe that we should be talking about. I've brought it up on Twitter and it's getting a lot of attention, a lot of traction. So this conversation is something that needs to be had. So from Douglas Park to Shawnee Park, it's some of the best basketball I've ever seen in my freaking life. And so this is something that I want to bring about. So you take pick your Lexington high schools, pick your Louisville high schools from whatever, how many. Okay, here's another one. Louisville. Y'all got 114 high schools, but a lot of y'all don't even play football. Like some of them are all girl, you know what I'm saying? Some of them are all cat, unless you are a football playing high school, don't count that shit. You know what I mean? Shout out to Sacred Heart for winning the Sweet 16, the ladies of Sacred Heart. But stop counting Sacred Heart when you're saying how many schools that Louisville got, how many high schools Louisville. Because that's not what I'm talking about. They don't play football. And ain't no all-girl schools in Lexington. So, I get the Catholic diocese created a lot of, schools. But no, if your high school doesn't play football, that's not what I'm talking about then. You know what I mean? So Lexington got 9. We got 3 private and 6 public. Football playing, basketball playing, baseball playing, track running schools. So I think this is something that needs to be set up. So let's get on it. All right? I've already started the conversation. So follow up, retweet me, add me, whatever we have to do. But I think this Lexington versus Louisville rivalry is something that needs to be paid attention. And we shouldn't just rely upon the playoffs and happenstance and perchance. Let's schedule this shit. All right? Keep it locked. Why don't black boys play baseball? I mean, they do at first. Athletically, our parents put us out there. We play football, we play basketball, we play baseball, probably even play soccer and karate, boxing, whatever your parents make you do. But I've noticed something that, and I've had a lot of conversations with people about this. When it comes to black boys who eventually grow up to become black men, why are we not playing baseball in droves? And now the question is not rhetorical. I believe there are a number of answers to that. But I just wanted to bring your attention to a subject matter. We'll play t-ball. We'll play Little League. But once black boys get around about 13 or 14 years old, it seems like we stop playing. And I want to know why. Of course, now, first, let me just, throw my jewels on the table. I played baseball. I love baseball. I played baseball up to the 11th grade. And I was kind of good at it. But I loved it because the reason that I did love it is it was an even playing field. Your size or your skill necessarily didn't make you overly dominant. It's a lot like chess. It's about how smart you are and how you can utilize your skill set, not just athleticism. And for me, it was fun. But I have like my 2 best friends. Neither one of them ever picked up a baseball bat. It just didn't intrigue them. They had no desire to. And so I wonder why. I'm going to throw some names out here to you. Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Darryl Strawberry, Barry Bonds, Ricky Henderson, Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders. In my opinion, I could keep going. I could say Kirby Puckett. I could say Eric Davis. I could keep going. Ozzie Smith. In my opinion, these are some of the greatest baseball players to have ever played baseball. And they are regular, schmegular, degular black men. Not with a Caribbean influence, not with a Spanish last name or a Latino last name. I mean, just the regular black guy named Chris Johnson or Eric Jackson or, Paul Williams, why does this guy not play baseball anymore? So I asked about it. And, there are different responses. One that resonated with me is that it's expensive. There aren't very many baseball teams or programs that may that may operate where you live. You may have to travel to the other side of the city or town or whatever to play for this team, which is one thing that I heard and understand. Also, equipment. A glove, balls, cleats, several bats, bags. This stuff costs. In basketball, all you need is a pair of shorts and some shoes. And in football, the equipment is provided for you. But in baseball, you have your own bat. You have your own glove. Travel in baseball is a lot more rapid. There are 126 baseball games in professional baseball. Baseball season, you just play a lot more games than 10 in basketball or 8 in football or 10 in football, what have you. And so it leads me to believe that a lot of times we get priced out. Your stellar athletes who may be from, lower development housing or income-based housing or the housing projects or whatever. A lot of times they're just scraping by, with the best that they can do, whatever they have. And so the expense of baseball may get into the way. Or, if you don't have a man in your life to pass the game down to you and teach you, you may not have no desire. The hardest thing to do in professional sports is to hit a fastball. Anybody, and when I say anybody, I mean my granny can make a layup. Anybody can catch a football if it's thrown to them. But the hardest thing in professional sports to do is to stand in that box and have the eye-hand coordination to hit a fastball pitch. And, it's a lot of factors into whether you may or may not love baseball. And so as a black man who did and does and avid watcher of baseball, it's curious to me that I don't see the Albert Bell anymore. I don't see the Dave Winfield. I don't see this guy anymore. All I see is, our Latin brothers, our brothers from the Puerto Rican descent and the Dominican Republic and Cuba and things like that. I don't see, Dwight Gooden. I don't see him anymore. I don't see Dave Justice anymore. And so it's something that has struck in my attention. So for all you baseball players out there, I commend you for sticking with it and staying to it past your adolescence, because I know you love the game, but I believe this is something that needs to be addressed and talked about. So we'll revisit this on Legion News very soon. one more thing. It is with a heavy heart that I regrettably inform you that the wrestling community here in the city of Louisville has taken a loss this week. On Friday, March 17th, we lost our beloved brother and dear friend, Sean Patrick O'Brien. I've known Sean for almost 2 years now. He was part of my Grindhouse Pro Wrestling family. Always greeted me with a smile and a hug. On Twitter, I would always see him check in on Monday mornings for breakfast at the airport or somewhere nearby. And I would always bust his balls about how his sausage looked nasty and it didn't look like it was finished being cooked. And just one of the nicest and most gracious people you'll ever meet. Here in Louisville, on Thursdays, he would host an open mic for local artists and rappers and singers and poets to grace the mic and display their gift. And he was very loved for that. I saw a video on Twitter where he was performing his hit, Take Your Panties Off, and had the whole crowd singing it. And we just really lost a really good guy. He was one of the best referees in independent professional wrestling that I've had the pleasure to be around. I know my friends Aaron Grider and Ben Sheeran and Aaron and those boys, and I just know everybody's hurting from Grindhouse to Paradigm Pro, and the entire wrestling community is at a loss for words right now. He was born on October the 6th, 1988, and we lost him on March 17th, 2023. He was affectionately known as SPO. And we unfortunately lost him on St. Patrick's Day of 2023. My dear friend Chad French of Midwest Territory had some dear words to say that I would like to convey right here on this broadcast because it touched me. And this is a quote from Chad French of Midwest Territory. Sean was the first guy to consistently greet me when I returned to independent wrestling shows a few years ago. He was there with me through tons of promotions, car rides, and various shenanigans. He loved us, so now we will pull together and show how much we love him. Originally, all of the proceeds of Pawcade were going to the Salem Animal Shelter, but after Friday, the untimely loss, Chad, I feel that the shelter will be fine with half of the proceeds. The other half will be donated to Sean's family. Pawcade is about doing good and putting positivity into the world. That's also what Sean was about. So I feel we should do so. I love you, Sean, end quote. I also saw our good friend and brother Aaron Grider say that at these wrestling shows, we need to take pictures more. We need to hug more. We need to tell each other that we love each other more, because one day you're here and the next you're gone. Sean Patrick O'Brien was very special to everyone who knew him. As far as me personally, brother, you sought me out and spoke to me every time you saw me. And that's something that not everybody did. And that's the reason why you were memorable to me. I thank you. I love you. Your memory will always be in my heart. And I wish you eternal rest. From all of us here at Lee G News and 48 Inches TV, rest in peace, Sean Patrick O'Brien. Well, hey, folks, that's going to do it for us. Episode 2, Lee G News, right here on 48 Inches TV. Be well, be blessed, count your blessings, and we'll see you next week. Keep it locked.
Life I'm living, this is Lee G News. Something different, this This is Lee G News, sports and music. This is Lee G News. Come on, you already know. Sitting up in my living room late, a quarter ounce on my tray. I roll it up and then I puff it away. I think I might just be the greatest to say. Live and direct, I got this coverage at an all-time high, so get it straight. Back in 94, I'm in the 8th grade. Before I started to blaze, I had this vision I was meant to be great. What can I say? Look, I'm still rocking today. My hunger, knowledge, and grace put me in places only some could relate. Stuart Scott, Stephen A. Smith with the gift. Mike Tirico, but mixed with Arsenio. Even back when I wrote for the paper, was perfecting the craft. Critics make me laugh how they get selectively mad. All I do is serve greatness for you to relate with. Y'all stuck on that slave shit, I'm up in my spaceship, dog. I don't hang with the suckers and fake shit. Just turn the channel LGN and bang this, Life I'm living,